So you guys know there is actually a pretty clear precedent for Elon Musk in the U.S. government. People have been asking me about this like all month, and it's coming up on a lot of the podcasts that I listen to. Like, is there any kind of precedent for this plutocrat coming into government and having such outsized influence, especially over the actual government that regulates him? Is there any precedent for this kind of thing? Well, it turns out there is. His name is Andrew Mellon, and he was the Treasury Secretary of the United States from 1921 to 1932. It's actually kind of insane. Now, obviously, there's no real precedent for aspects of Elon Musk. You know, the rocket ships, the car company, the weirdness of our current economic situation, irrationality of Magnificent Seven, et cetera, et cetera. But there was a previous Gilded Age, and there was in Woodrow Wilson, who also unfortunately did World War One, but was a more progressive attempt to rebel against that, and there was a massive Republican counter-revolution throughout the 1920s. And under two separate presidents, Andrew Mellon, one of the wealthiest people in the country, who had made his wealth off of, I think, being the banker to Andrew Carnegie. So he was finance plus high tech back then. And he basically ran the Treasury Department of the United States throughout the 1920s. And of course, this was the incredible go-go roaring 20s that ended in incredible financial catastrophe in 1929, and he was turfed out by sort of Woodrow Wilson's progressive successor, FDR, when he came in. Apparently had to do a kind of a deal with the U.S. government involving him founding the National Gallery, I think to avoid prosecution and large-scale clawing back of his profits, which is kind of an interesting story. Of course, I think his grandkid or great-grandkid gave Donald Trump $100 million. So it's not like he, was entirely turfed out. But it's interesting, like the plutocratic reaction we are seeing with Donald Trump very much has precedent. It happened in the 1920s. Unlike the 1920s, I don't think we're going to get the big economic boom before the crash. We've been living that economic boom for a while now. But I just thought that was interesting that Andrew Mellon is actually a pretty straightforward example of a plutocrat who stepped into government and essentially got to run things under two separate U.S. presidents, Warren G. Harding and Calvin Coolidge, before getting turfed out completely. So yeah, precedent.